Have you ever heard of the philosopher King? It's a concept that has echoed through the halls of power and academia for centuries. A powerful, almost seductive idea. It's a powerful idea, one that speaks to our deepest hopes for what leadership could be. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato dreamed it up thousands of years ago in his masterwork. He imagined a ruler who wasn't just born into power or a savvy political operator, but a true deep thinker. A leader forged in the fires of intellectual rigor and moral inquiry. This ideal leader would possess immense power, the kind that shapes nations and moves armies, but they would wield it with profound wisdom, guided by a deep understanding of truth and justice. This person would be fair, not swayed by popular opinion or personal gain. This person would be just, their every action calibrated for the good of all. This person would be brilliant, capable of navigating the most complex challenges with clarity and foresight. In Plato's utopia, they would make perfect decisions for everyone, creating a society of unparalleled harmony and prosperity. It sounds great, right? It's the ultimate meritocracy. And because it sounds so right, many of us chase this ideal in our own lives. We internalize this narrative. We believe that if we are wise enough, if we are good enough, if we are smart enough, then power will naturally follow. We think the world operates on a system of cosmic justice, that it will recognize our wisdom and virtue and simply hand us the keys to the kingdom. But what if that's a fairy tale? What if we have it all backward? What if the path to true, effective leadership starts not with a book, but with a crown? I'm here to tell you something that might feel wrong, something that cuts against the grain of everything we've been taught about earning our place. To become the philosopher king, you must first become the king. Forget the philosopher part for a moment. Set aside the endless pursuit of perfect knowledge. Focus on getting the power. I know, it sounds a little like a movie villain, doesn't it? A Machiavellian plot. Seize control. Consolidate your influence. Then, and only then, we'll think about ethics. But this isn't about being evil or corrupt or power-hungry for its own sake. It's about being effective. It's about understanding the fundamental physics of how change actually happens in the world. Because wisdom without power is just a nice thought. It's a beautiful, elegant theory stuck in a library, gathering dust. That theory, on its own, can't feed a hungry child. It can't build a hospital for the sick. It can't stop a war. To make real, lasting change in the tangible world, you need influence first. You need the authority to make the call, to allocate the resources, to command the action. Think about it in your own life, in a context we can all understand. You might have the best idea at your job. A truly brilliant plan, meticulously researched, that could save the company millions or revolutionize a product. But if you're an intern, an entry-level employee, who is going to listen? Who has to listen? You can write the most eloquent, persuasive emails. You can prepare the most detailed, data-driven reports. But without the authority that comes with position, your wisdom is just noise. Its potential, unrealized. The manager, the one with the power, the formal authority, makes the final decision. They might have a worse idea, a less informed plan, but they have the power to make it happen. And in the real world, that is what counts. Power is the engine. Wisdom is the map. You can't go anywhere with just a map. You can stare at it for a lifetime, know every route, every landmark, but you remain stationary. You need the engine to start moving, to begin the journey. Only then does the map become useful. This essay will challenge the common path, the one that tells you to wait your turn and hope your brilliance is discovered. We are leaving the classroom debates behind. We are stepping into the arena, the messy, complicated, real-world space where power is won and lost. This is a blueprint for a different kind of leader. It's for the pragmatist with a heart. For the person who wants to do good but is clear-eyed enough to know that good intentions aren't enough. Over the course of this series, we will explore why gaining power first is a deeply strategic, not cynical act. We will look at history and the modern world to see this principle in action, studying leaders who acquired influence and then used it to enact their vision. And most importantly, we'll lay out a practical plan, a playbook for acquiring authority ethically and effectively. The sequence is critical. First, you get the power. You secure your position. You build your influence. Then, and only then, do you have the freedom, the platform, and the leverage to truly become the philosopher. So why do we get this so wrong? Why do we instinctively place the pursuit of wisdom before the pursuit of power? Why do so many of us believe that wisdom is the first and only step? That if we just become smart enough, good enough, and insightful enough, the world will naturally bend to our will? It's because the stories we love tell us so. From our earliest childhood, we are fed a steady diet of narratives that reinforce this comforting but ultimately misleading idea. We love the tale of the humble sage, the quiet intellectual who, through sheer brilliance and moral clarity, guides the kingdom from the shadows. We admire the wise old advisor who whispers sense into the king's ear, saving the realm from the ruler's folly with a single, perfectly timed piece of advice. These stories make us feel good. They create a sense of cosmic justice, a world where intellect and integrity are the ultimate currencies. They suggest that virtue and intelligence will always be rewarded, that if you just build a better mousetrap, or in this case, a better philosophy, the world will beat a path to your door. They paint a picture where the best ideas automatically win, as if society is a grand debating club where the most logical argument always carries the day. But the real world doesn't work like a fairy tale. It's a complex, messy, and often irrational arena of competing interests. In reality, power often ignores wisdom, especially when that wisdom is inconvenient or challenging to the status quo. A brilliant report on climate change is useless if the people in charge have vested interests in fossil fuels. A groundbreaking public health strategy means nothing if it's politically unpopular. This essay offers a different story, a more pragmatic and ultimately a more effective one. It's a playbook, a practical guide for those who want to lead, for those who have good ideas and the burning desire to see them implemented. We will break this journey into clear, manageable parts, creating a roadmap for the aspiring philosopher king. First, we will build the case for power. We will argue that for those who wish to do good in the world, the acquisition of power is not a grubby necessity, but a moral imperative. We will define power not as domination, but as agency, the capacity to make things happen. We'll explore its core components: authority, the formal and informal right to make decisions and command respect; resources, the control of money, people, and materials needed to execute a vision; and influence, the social capital and network required to build coalitions and persuade others. We will examine leaders who grabbed power first and then used it to shape the world according to their vision. Think of Lincoln, who used the full, brutal force of his presidential power to preserve the Union and end slavery, a goal his eloquent reasoning alone could never achieve. We will also look at the ghosts of brilliant thinkers who never gained influence, whose genius remained trapped in books and lecture halls. Their ideas were pure, but their impact was small. They wrote prescriptions for a better world that were never filled because they never controlled the pharmacy. They were philosophers, but they were never kings. And because of that, their philosophies remained theories, not realities. Next, we will talk about the most important transition, the one that separates a mere ruler from a true leader. This is the pivot from king to philosopher. It's the conscious decision, after securing power, to cultivate the wisdom needed to wield it justly. It's the hard part. The climb for power is treacherous, but the summit is a plateau of temptation. Gaining power can change a person, and not always for the better. It isolates you. It surrounds you with sycophants. It whispers that you are infallible. So how do you hold on to your soul once you have the crown? How do you ensure the power serves the vision, and not the other way around? We will provide a strategy. This isn't about vague hopes, it's about building concrete systems of ethical guardrails. We will outline the habits you need to build, the personal disciplines that anchor you to your original purpose. These are the non-negotiables: radical listening, continuous learning, and creating systems that keep you honest, like public dashboards or independent oversight committees. We will show you how to surround yourself with people who will tell you the truth, not just what you want to hear. How to build a council of critics whose job is to challenge your assumptions and speak truth to your power. This is the critical step to avoid becoming a tyrant and start becoming a true leader. It is the conscious choice to remain a student even after you have become the master. Finally, we will bring it all together. We will synthesize these two phases: the path to the throne and the conduct upon it. The goal isn't just to have power. An empty throne is a tragedy, but a throne occupied by a fool or a monster is a catastrophe. The goal is to weld power to wisdom, to create an unbreakable bond between the ability to act and the knowledge of how to act rightly. Power without wisdom is a wildfire, burning everything in its path. It is ambition unchecked by conscience, action without reflection. Wisdom without power is a single candle in a hurricane, easily extinguished. It is insight without influence, a beautiful idea that changes nothing. You need both. One to gain the world, the other to know what to do with it. This essay is your map. It is not a collection of abstract theories, but a sequence of actionable strategies. It will show you how to gain responsible power and then how to cultivate the mind and spirit to use it well. It is a guide to becoming formidable and good. It's a call to action for a new generation of leaders. For the innovators, the activists, the entrepreneurs, and the public servants who are tired of seeing good ideas die on the vine. This is for leaders who are pragmatic enough to win the throne and wise enough to deserve it. Let's begin. Let's be honest with ourselves, truly honest. For a moment, let's set aside the discomfort and the negative connotations that cling to one particular word: power. We often shy away from it, viewing its pursuit as something inherently corrupt or selfish. We prefer to talk about influence, leadership, or impact. But these are just softer, more palatable synonyms for the same fundamental force. Because at its core, power is a currency. It is the dollar, the yen, the euro of human interaction. It's the medium of exchange that governs what gets done in the world, who gets to decide, and which visions for the future are given a chance to live. Just like money, it can be earned, spent, invested, and unfortunately, hoarded. And just like money, having none of it leaves you on the sidelines. You can have the most beautiful, noble ideas in the world. You can possess a philosopher's wisdom, an artist's vision, an engineer's solution to a global crisis. Your mind can be a treasure trove of brilliance, but if your bank account is empty, you can't buy anything with them. Your ideas, no matter how profound, remain locked in your own mind, unable to purchase a single moment of anyone's time or a single brick for your foundation. Power is what allows you to purchase action. It lets you hire people, build things, and enforce rules. It's the authority that transforms a suggestion into a mandate, a blueprint into a skyscraper, a complaint into a policy. A great idea for a new school is just a dream, a beautiful but intangible sketch on a piece of paper. But a leader with the power to approve budgets, acquire land, navigate zoning laws, and hire teachers can turn that dream into a brick-and-mortar reality filled with the sounds of learning. That is the alchemy of power, turning the ethereal into the tangible. That is the fundamental truth we must accept if we want to make a difference. Power is the universal currency for getting things done. Imagine a city is facing a terrible drought. The reservoirs are shrinking, the land is cracking, and the future looks bleak. A brilliant scientist, a true philosopher of water, has a revolutionary plan for water conservation and recycling. It's elegant, efficient, and scientifically sound. She publishes papers. She gives talks. Her ideas are perfect, but she has no power. She has no authority. She can't command a budget or mobilize a workforce. City officials, the ones with power, are busy with other priorities. They are responding to political pressures, balancing budgets, and dealing with 1,000 other crises, not reading scientific journals. Her wisdom is pure, but it remains on the shelf, gathering dust while the city thirsts. Now, imagine a mayor who gets elected. Maybe the mayor isn't a scientist. Maybe they don't even understand the intricate chemistry of water purification. But they have power. They have a mandate from the people and control over the city's resources. They can summon the scientist, listen to her expertise, and then use their authority to turn her wisdom into action. They sign the executive order, allocate the funds, and direct the public works department. Suddenly, pipes are being laid and recycling plants are being built. The mayor didn't have the idea, but they had the power to make it law. Power was the missing ingredient. History is filled with examples of this. Abraham Lincoln was not just a man with profound moral convictions about slavery. His opposition to it was clear long before he held high office. But he was also a shrewd politician who built a coalition, won an election, and became president. He understood that to end a great evil, he needed the greatest power in the land. His moral clarity, his philosophy, was essential. It was his compass. But it was his political power, his command of the Union Army, his executive authority that allowed him to issue the Emancipation Proclamation. Without the presidency, Lincoln would have been just another eloquent abolitionist, his words echoing in halls but failing to break the chains. With it, he changed the course of history. He was the king first, and that position of power gave his philosophy the force of law. This doesn't mean you have to become a president or a CEO. Power exists in many forms, at every level of society. It's the project manager who can greenlight an innovative idea. It's the community organizer who can mobilize a neighborhood. It's the doctor who can advocate for a patient's treatment. It's the artist whose work captures the public imagination and shifts the cultural conversation. The point is to actively seek that influence within your own sphere. It means building relationships, mastering your craft until your expertise is undeniable, and understanding the systems you operate in. Don't wait for people to discover your genius. Don't be the brilliant scientist waiting for the mayor to call. Go out and build the platform that forces them to listen. Become the person whose opinion is sought, whose approval is needed, whose support is critical. See power not as a dirty word, but as the essential tool for any builder, any creator, any person who wants to leave the world better than they found it. It is the key that unlocks resources, the lever that moves institutions, the amplifier for a voice that deserves to be heard. Your good intentions are the blueprint. Your philosophy is the design. But power is the currency you need to buy real, tangible change.